Well, I've never had it reach max before, but apparently this video is going to be in 2 sections. So, yep. So you're going to want to have that conversational dialogue to talk about where your group came from. I typically recommend not practicing that so that you have an organic conversation, but I'm certainly not going to know either way. Let's be honest. So, that being said, let's move on to this week's readings. All right, so I just want to cover some of the finer points of Lagar because I really do think that that's a great article. I want to make sure because it's a person directed or person first strategy, I want to make sure to go through some of the finer points because that is, I know a lot of folks here work with populations that could be seen as disabled in a way or in some kind of fashion, not of the framework to make their own best decisions. And so I want to try and dispel some of that as much as possible. I am vehemently opposed to the idea that social workers are there to make decisions for folks or to control people's outcomes. We can't control anybody but ourselves. I instead am of the proponent that we're here to help people make changes they want. I realize we have mandatory clients sometimes, and so I can see that that to be kind of something that butts its own head a little bit. However, I know the folks that do have mandatory clients are somewhat instructed on motivational interviewing, how to talk to people about what they want to accomplish, and make sure that their goals are person directed. As such, the one thing that I will take points off for your group paper or project rather is if you're having a team meeting and the person is not present. I've had some groups do that in the past and I can't get beyond it. Nobody should be having a team meeting without the person present who we're talking about. I don't feel like that's fair. I don't think anyone should be making a decision without that person being a party of that. I used to work in an intellectual disabilities field before here, and I saw it all the time, and I refused to meet with groups of people to make decisions about what to do with the life of somebody unless that somebody was in the room to tell me if I was full of it. Like, I want to hear them, even if they're going to get upset, even if they're going to have a lot of strong opinions, those opinions are worth noting. This is someone's life. All right, how many soapboxes do I have this week? This is like my third. Like, I need to calm down. It's only going to get worse because now we're going through all of these Lagar points. All right, punishment versus protection. That's why I have this weird gif of this dog with this weird life jacket on, which, by the way, I have 2 life jackets for my dogs. They are for protection. Um, if I were to put it on when one of my dogs acted out, that would be punishment. Um, my dogs hate it just as much as this little dog hates it. Yeah, nope, they both hate it. They both hate it. One more than the other, but they both definitely hate it. So you can take steps towards protection. Do not take steps towards punishment. Punishment is not a productive use of your time or your client's time. And so you want to make sure that when you're looking at how to change behaviors, you're looking at moving things forward in a positive way. Let's reinforce things we want to see and ignore the things we don't. Um, when you're working in an IDD population, possibly those who are working with juvenile detention centers, you might have a policy that if somebody is actively upset, somebody is actively having behaviors that are aggressive and dangerous, they probably shouldn't be going out into the community. I mean, I have some feelings with it because that is the policy that's misused. And I'm sure a lot of you folks have seen it too, where a person is um, kept home, they're not able to go bowling or something because they are having an episode and are way too aggressive. And I hope you guys can tell by my conversation, not my conversation, but like tone at this point when I'm being sarcastic. But that happens all the time. And I think the thing to think about is this person staying home for their own protection or are they staying home to punish them so that they don't do this again? If you're punishing them so that they won't do this again, you're walking down a treacherous path, my friend, because it's not productive. It's not going to get you the outcomes you want. Instead, talk about the behaviors you do want and reward them when you see them. A lot of times we only pay attention to the folks that are causing hardships in our environments. And so the person who's giving you all the behaviors you're hoping to see is not getting any benefit from doing it, but the person who is destroying property is getting a lot of attention, and sometimes that's what they're hoping for. So you want to make sure you're awarding the things you want to see and ignoring the things you don't, unless it's an issue about protection. Moving on. I like these percentages. When my partner read these percentages, they were floored. That being said, it's important to know that when you're talking about a one-on-one client change, so you're meeting with somebody individually, that person and their motivation and their like mindset walking into the room is 40% of the ability to be effectual. So what that means is if you don't get that person energized and motivated and wanting to be there, you're fighting an uphill battle. Like you're literally going to be fighting with 60% because you don't have that person's involvement. So 40% of the success of a strategy is on the basis of that person's mindset in the relationship. The next part is the relationship. So the rapport you build with your clients, 30% of the impact that it's going to have. So if you have both the person motivated to be there, your relationship is a motivating factor for that person, you're 70% of the way there. Not to mention that another 15% is the placebo effect. Somebody is walking in your doors, they're going to try to do something because otherwise, why are they continuing to walk through the door? Which leaves only 15% of the effect of your strategy is based on the strategy itself, which is why it's crucial to know all of these tools, to have your tools all lined up, because every tool is going to work on somebody. Not everyone's going to be able to sit down for motivational interviewing. Not everyone's going to be able to do the nonviolent communication strategy. Not everyone's going to want to sit down and do common grounds. But it will work for some people. CBT will work for some people, but you have to make sure that you are able to put on different hats and try out different strategies for the person you're looking at. All right. Connecting to humanness is something Lagar covers. I just want to make sure that whenever you're feeling frustrated by a client, somebody's walking into your door, you can feel yourself being frustrated. I want to make sure that you think about the humanness of a person. All right. So if you work with folks who are borderline personality disorder, right? That's a pretty challenging diagnosis to work with. And I know there are a few folks here who have experience in that, which is amazing. However, staticky. It's really important to be able to look at the things that make that person endearing, the things that you have. So we're going to think about the things that make a person a human. If you're talking about somebody who has a lot of trouble in conversation, or it's hard to kind of see through the maladaptive behaviors, it's important to take some time to find it, to find the piece of that person that motivates you, that you find yourself endeared towards. Usually, for me, I get drawn towards the students or the people who have most need. So I end up preferring people with like borderline personality disorder, folks on the autism spectrum have really significant behaviors, because I just like the idea of somebody. I find it tremendously endearing that somebody has to overcome such significant barriers just to be where they are right now. Talking about folks in the spectrum and the sensory overload, or the uh, misunderstandings with other people, like those are things that I find human. Um, what I have to struggle with is when I feel like somebody walks into my office and complains, although they have all those things at their fingertips. And so I have to find the humanness in those people. When that student's in my office and sitting down, not student like you guys, student like my undergrad students that I work with. Um, if somebody's sitting down my office and everybody's, the worst, nobody's helping, everybody doesn't know how to teach, doesn't know how to support me, doesn't know blah, blah, blah. but that person's not taking any personal agency for themselves, and that I find hard. And so I have to search and find the humanness in a person, which sometimes means talking to them about um, if they're insecure about something, or what's going on with their friends, or what makes them somebody that you're going to connect to empower your relationship as a clinician. If you find yourself in an overwhelming rut where everything's the worst, which happens to us sometimes, expressing gratitude is important, not just gratitude for yourself and for your life and the things that you have the great benefit of having in your life, but also at work, the students or clients that you work with, the things that they bring to your life that you wouldn't have otherwise, and also the experiences of challenge that you grow from. So, somebody really is trying you, is giving you a run for your money in work. They're testing your limits and your boundaries and making you a stronger clinician. And so, expressing gratitude both internally or via writing in a journal, but also to people about the things that they bring to your life is a great step of not just like effective practice, but self-care, because it reinforces that mindset that, you know, there are things to be happy about and your life is pleasurable. Um, when you're talking about goal setting with clients, you're going to want to make sure to come up with concrete, measurable things. A lot of times we talk real heady, like how to get happy, or not that getting happy is a bad thing. It's just it means a lot of different things to different people. So the $1 million question that folks really talk about a lot is if things were to change for the better and all of your problems would be solved, and you woke up tomorrow, how would you know they were solved? Right? So, like, let's say you're facing depression and you woke up tomorrow, how would you know that depression's gone? Well, I would get out of bed and I would make breakfast. I would have my clothes ready already. I would feel awake, And so then those are very measurable things. Let's find out how to wake up on time. What kind of alarms do you use? What's a motivating strategy to get out of bed? Um, let's talk about making breakfast. You want to do overnight oatmeal so it's already ready for you in the morning. Overnight oatmeal, by the way, folks, really delicious. um, or do you want to try strategies to make sure you have a more restful night's sleep? Maybe you need sleep assistance or CPAP machine, or maybe you should do a sleep study. Like, these are things we can do. And so you start creating these really simple, doable things that still get you on that path to a place where you want to be. They also have in the Lagar reading a really good breakdown of strategic questioning. I'm going to beg you to review it. It's great. Strategic questions, definitely something you can use in your small group projects. Why couldn't I remember the word project? Whatever. It's been a long day. Okay, so strategic questioning is about making sure you drill down into people's motivations, what they want to what they want to get, and also bringing it back out into these other areas to help progress that person's mindset as far as getting through this. All right, I'm going to skip ahead to next week because there's a chance I'm going to get cut off again soon. Um, Yeah. Okay, so next week you're gonna have to watch Freedom Fighters. Please try to use this week to try and find it somewhere. I think it's on Netflix. I think it's on Amazon Prime, but it's also on YouTube. So if you need help finding it, let me know. You're gonna have a professional development paper next week that is really gonna be based on you defining how you're gonna better yourself. So I don't want you to think about um, how great you are in A, B, and C strategies. I want you to look at the places you know you have weaknesses and talk about how you're going to strengthen them. You're going to have a dyad meeting and a small group meeting. I think that's it for me this week. I think I only have 30 seconds left before it kicks me off if it does it again. I don't know. This is the first time it's happened. So sorry for the truncated videos. Hopefully everything's going well. Please reach out to me if you need any assistance. Have a great day.